You ever stop and think that maybe you didn't start life at zero? That actually you were born already owing? Because there's this silent machine, a machine you never even noticed, that turns every person into an interest payer from their very first paycheck. Some people figure it out way too late. Most never figure it out at all. Look, I'm not talking about some conspiracy theory or whatever. I'm talking about something way more real, way more brutal. Something that's been grinding people down for decades, and nobody's saying a damn word about it. You think you're living your life, making your choices, building your future, but the truth? The truth is you were programmed before you even knew what money was. You were set up to feed this machine, and the scary part is, the machine doesn't care if you're smart or dumb, broke or comfortable. It just needs you to keep paying. You weren't taught about compound interest in school, were you? Nah. But you were taught to want things. You were taught that having the new iPhone, the fresh kicks, the nice car, that's what success looks like. You were taught to consume before you were taught to earn. You were taught to swipe before you were taught to save. And by the time you're old enough to realize what's happening, you're already caught in the gears. This isn't about blaming you. This is about showing you the trap. Because if you don't understand how this machine works, you're gonna spend your whole life running on a treadmill that never stops, paying off debt that never shrinks, feeling like you're drowning even when you're doing everything right. And that feeling, that constant gnawing anxiety that no matter how hard you work, you're still behind, that's not an accident. That's the design. If you keep thinking you're in control of your money, maybe you better stick around till the end. Because if you don't understand how this machine operates, you're gonna keep paying, even when you think you're winning. And people who already follow me here know I break down this trap without hiding a single thing. See, this isn't about motivation. This isn't about work harder or think positive. This is about understanding that you're playing a game where the rules were written before you were born, and nobody ever handed you the rulebook. They just threw you onto the field and said, go. You know what's wild? The machine doesn't even hide anymore. It operates right out in the open. Credit card offers in the mail before you even have a job. Student loans that are supposed to be an investment in your future, but leave you paying for decades. Car loans at 8%, 12%, 15% interest because everyone finances cars, bro. By now, pay later on literally everything. Shoes, groceries, concert tickets. The machine is everywhere, and it's normalized to the point where people think debt is just part of life. And here's the thing, it is part of life now. That's how deep the machine runs. It's not an exception anymore. It's the default. You're supposed to be in debt. You're supposed to carry a balance. You're supposed to make minimum payments for the rest of your life. That's the new normal, and if you're not doing it, you're the weird one. But let me ask you something real quick. How many people you know are actually free? Like really free? Not just, I got a good job free, but I don't owe anybody anything free? Probably not many, right? And that's not a coincidence. And if you're still here listening to this, feeling that itch in the back of your mind, that little voice saying, damn, this is exactly what's happening to me, then do something simple that's actually in your control right now. Hit subscribe. Not because it's the YouTube thing to say. Not because it helps the channel. But because if you don't understand this system, if you don't learn how this game is really played, you're gonna keep paying, quietly, endlessly, blindly. And I don't sugarcoat anything here. I break the machine open on the table and show you every moving part they didn't want you to see. If you're trying to get free, this is where you stay. And drop a like too. Not for me, for you. It's your way of saying, I'm done pretending this is normal. I'm done letting the system think I'm asleep. Hit it, lock in, and let's keep going. Because what I'm about to show you next is the part nobody warns you about. The part that keeps 99% of people chained without even realizing they're wearing chains. This machine doesn't start when you take out your first loan. It doesn't start when you max out your first credit card. Hell, it doesn't even start when you turn 18 and sign your first contract. Nah man. This thing starts way before that. It starts in your head, in your habits, in the way you were raised to think about money, or more accurately, the way you were never taught to think about it at all. They educate you to consume, but they don't educate you to understand interest. They give you credit before they give you income. They offer you a credit card before they offer you stability. They give you a limit without giving you security. And by the time you're old enough to realize what's happening, you're already swimming in it, trying to keep your head above water, wondering why it feels like you're always sinking even though you're working your ass off every single day. Think about it. When you were a kid, what did they teach you about money? Save your allowance? Maybe. But what did the world around you teach you? Buy the cool stuff. Get the new sneakers. Have the latest phone. Go out to eat. Take the trip. Live your life. YOLO, right? They bombarded you with ads, with influencers, with everyone around you spending money they didn't have on things they didn't need, and they made it look easy. They made it look normal. They made it look like that's just what you do when you grow up. But nobody, and I mean nobody, sat you down and explained compound interest. Nobody showed you what happens when you carry a balance on a credit card at 22% APR. Nobody explained that the minimum payment barely touches the principal, that you could pay for years and still owe almost the same amount. Nobody told you that the interest you pay on your student loans could end up being more than the actual cost of your education. Nobody warned you that financing a car means you're paying thousands of extra dollars just for the privilege of driving it off the lot today instead of saving up and buying it later. And here's the kicker: they knew you wouldn't figure it out on your own. They counted on it. Because the system doesn't need you to understand. It just needs you to participate. It needs you to swipe, to sign, to say yes to that low monthly payment, without doing the math on what you're actually paying over time. The machine feeds on financial ignorance, and it's been feeding for decades, getting fatter and fatter while people get more and more tired. You know what's really messed up? The way they sell it to you. They don't call it a trap. They call it building credit. They don't call it debt slavery. They call it financial responsibility. They don't call it getting squeezed. They call it managing your payments. The language itself is designed to make you feel like you're doing something smart, something mature, something necessary. And maybe, in this twisted system, it is necessary. But that doesn't mean it's right. Let me paint you a picture. You're 22, fresh out of college, or maybe you skipped college, doesn't matter. You get your first real job. You're making, what, 35, 40,000 a year? Feels like a lot at first, right? You're finally earning. Finally independent. Finally an adult. So what do? You get an apartment, first month, last month, security deposit, that's 3 months rent right there before you even move in. You need furniture. You need a car to get to work. You need work clothes. You need a laptop, a phone, internet. You need to eat. You need to live. And suddenly that 40,000 doesn't feel like that much anymore. Suddenly you're looking at your bank account at the end of the month and there's barely anything left. So when that credit card offer comes in the mail, the one with the 0% intro APR for 12 months, it seems like a lifeline. It seems like breathing room. It seems like a way to just get through this rough patch until you get your next raise, your next promotion, your next opportunity. But here's what they don't tell you: there is no rough patch. This is just life now. The expenses don't stop. The bills don't stop. And that 0%? That ends. And when it ends, suddenly you're paying interest on a balance you thought you'd have paid off by now, but life kept happening, kept demanding more money, and now you're stuck. Now you're making minimum payments. Now you're in the machine. And the worst part? You feel like it's your fault. You feel like you messed up, like you should have been smarter, should have been more disciplined, should have done better. And maybe you could have done some things differently, sure. But the game was rigged from the start, homie. The machine was waiting for you. It was designed to catch you. And it catches almost everyone sooner or later. This is the first phase of the trap. This is how the machine captures you. It offers you convenience, opportunity, a chance to live the life you were told you deserved. And all it asks in return is a little interest. Just a small percentage. Just a monthly payment. Doesn't seem like much, right? But that's how it starts. That's always how it starts. And when you finally realize what's happening, you're already locked in the cycle. You're already spinning in place. You're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week and somehow you're still broke. Somehow the money disappears before you even see it. Rent, car payment, insurance, utilities, groceries, gas, phone bill, internet, subscriptions you forgot you even had. And oh yeah, those minimum payments on the cards you swore you'd pay off last year. You know what the really sick part is? The interest grows faster than your salary ever will. You get a 3% raise at work, if you're lucky, and you feel good for like a week. Then you realize your credit card interest is sitting at 19, 22, 25%. Your car loan is at 8%. Your student loans are at 6%. The cost of living goes up 5% year over year. That raise you got? It's gone before it even hits your account. You're not moving forward. You're just trying not to fall further behind. And the debt? Man, the debt never seems to go down. You pay and pay and pay and the balance barely budges. You throw an extra $100 at it 1 month, feel like you're making progress, then something breaks, your car needs new tires, your laptop dies, you get hit with a medical bill, and suddenly you're right back where you started. Or worse, you're deeper in. And that feeling, that crushing, suffocating feeling that you're running as fast as you can but the finish line just keeps moving further away? That's not in your head. That's real. That's the machine doing exactly what it was built to do. See, the machine doesn't want you to pay off your debt. It wants you to service your debt. There's a difference and it's a huge one. Paying off your debt means you're done, you're free, you're out. Servicing your debt means you keep paying, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. The minimum payment is designed to keep you in the game. It's designed to be just affordable enough that you can keep making it, but just small enough that you're mostly paying interest and barely touching the principal. It's brilliant in the most evil way possible. They've figured out the exact amount they can squeeze out of you without breaking you completely. They keep you functional enough to keep working, to keep earning, to keep paying. But they never let you get ahead. They never let you build real wealth. They never let you breathe. You feel it, don't you? That constant pressure in your chest. That anxiety that wakes you up at 3 in the morning. That voice in your head that whispers, "You're never gonna make it," every time you look at your bank account. That shame you feel when you have to decline hanging out with friends because you literally can't afford it. That embarrassment when your card gets declined at the grocery store. That fear that one emergency, one unexpected expense, one bad break could send everything crashing down. And the worst part? You look around and everyone else seems fine. Everyone else is posting their vacations on Instagram, buying new cars, going out to eat, living their lives. And you start thinking maybe it's just you. Maybe you're the only one struggling. Maybe everyone else figured out something you didn't. But that's the lie, man. That's the illusion. Most of those people are drowning too. They're just drowning in public, with a smile on their face, financing the illusion of success while the machine grinds them down in private. The numbers don't lie. The average American has over $6,000 in credit card debt. The average student loan debt is over $30,000. The average car loan is over $27,000. And people are taking 7, 8, 9 years to pay off cars that'll be worth nothing by the time they're done paying. They're making student loan payments well into their 40s and 50s. They're refinancing their houses to pay off credit cards, then running the cards back up again because life doesn't stop demanding money just because you're trying to get out of debt. This is the cycle. This is the trap. This is how the machine keeps you provisable, keeps you controllable, keeps you exhausted. You work to pay bills. You pay bills to survive. You survive to work. Round and round and round. And every month, a chunk of your paycheck goes straight to interest payments. Money that just evaporates into thin air, money that builds nothing for you, money that only makes someone else richer while you stay exactly where you are. Comment down below if you've ever felt like no matter how much you pay, your debt just seems to grow on its own. I want to know how many people are stuck in this same cycle, because I guarantee you're not alone. I guarantee there are thousands of people reading this right now who know exactly what I'm talking about, who feel that same weight, that same exhaustion, that same sense that the game is rigged and they never had a real chance to win. But here's where it gets even darker. Here's where the machine shows its true face. Because everything I just described, that's just the surface. That's just the obvious part. That's the part you can see on your credit card statement, on your loan balance, on your budget spreadsheet. But there's a deeper level to this thing. There's a layer that most people never even notice because it doesn't show up in the numbers. It shows up in your life, in your choices, in your future, or the lack of one. But here's what almost nobody realizes. Debt isn't a mistake. It's a business model. The debt machine doesn't exist to help you. It exists to keep you predictable. Every time you pay interest, someone's making money. And the more people born owing, the more powerful this machine becomes. Let me break this down for you, because this is where people's minds usually blow. You think banks want you to pay off your loans? You think credit card companies are hoping you become debt-free? Hell no. Their entire profit model is built on you staying in debt. The longer you owe, the more they make. It's that simple. You're not a customer to them, you're a revenue stream. You're an asset on their books. Your debt is their profit center. Look at the numbers, man. Credit card companies make over $100 billion a year just from interest and fees. Not from providing a service. Not from creating value. From charging you to use your own future money. Banks make their biggest profits from loan interest, mortgages, auto loans, personal loans, all of it. The entire financial system is built on the premise that you will be in debt, that you will stay in debt, and that you will keep paying interest for as long as humanly possible. And here's the really twisted part. They've made it so normal that people don't even question it anymore. Your parents had debt. Their parents had debt. Everyone you know has debt. It's just what you do, right? You go to school, you get a job, you get into debt, you spend your life paying it off. That's the American dream now. Not owning your home, paying a mortgage for 30 years. Not having a car, financing a car and trading it in before it's paid off to finance another one. Not building wealth, managing debt. They've normalized financial slavery and called it adulting. They've made it seem responsible to be in debt, irresponsible to avoid it. You need to build credit, they say. You need to establish a credit history. And how do you do that? By borrowing money and paying it back. By proving you're a good little debt servant who makes their payments on time. The whole credit score system is just a measure of how reliably you'll feed the machine. Think about how insane that is. Your financial worth in this society isn't measured by how much you own or how much you've saved. It's measured by how well you handle debt. You could have $100,000 in the bank and no credit history, and you'd have a harder time getting approved for an apartment than someone with $50,000 in debt and a 720 credit score. The system literally rewards indebtedness and punishes financial independence. And it starts so young now. They're targeting college kids with credit card offers before they even understand what interest is. They're encouraging 18-year-olds to take out massive student loans for degrees that might not even lead to jobs that can pay them back. They're financing everything: phones, furniture, clothes, food, entertainment, making it easier to go into debt than to pay cash. By now, pay later is everywhere, turning every purchase into a mini loan, fragmenting your debt across a dozen different services so you lose track of how much you actually owe. The machine has evolved, man. It's not just banks anymore. It's apps, it's fintech startups, it's retailers, it's streaming services with auto-renew. It's everywhere, and it's all designed to extract money from you continuously, in small enough amounts that you don't notice until you step back and realize you're subscribed to 20 different things and can't remember signing up for half of them. But here's what really gets me. Here's what makes this whole thing so diabolical. The debt machine doesn't just take your money. It takes your time. It takes your energy. It takes your dreams. Because when you're stuck in the cycle, when you're living paycheck to paycheck, when you're drowning in payments, you can't take risks. You can't quit the job that's killing you to start the business you've been dreaming about. You can't take time off to figure out what you really want to do with your life. You can't move to a new city, can't go back to school, can't invest in yourself, can't do anything that might improve your situation because you're too busy trying to survive your current situation. The machine keeps you stuck, keeps you scared, it keeps you compliant. Because someone in debt is someone who has to show up. Someone who has to take the overtime. Someone who has to accept the bad conditions, the low pay, the disrespect because they can't afford to lose the income. The debt makes you controllable, and that's not a side effect. That's the point. You ever notice how the people with the most debt are the ones working the hardest? How the people who can least afford to be in debt are the ones drowning in it? That's not random. That's structural. The system is designed to extract maximum labor from people while giving them minimum security. Keep them working, keep them worried, keep them too exhausted to question why things are the way they are. And the really sick thing? They blame you for it. They tell you it's a personal responsibility issue. They say you should have budgeted better, should have made smarter choices, should have been more disciplined. Like your individual decisions are the reason the entire economic system is built on predatory lending and wealth extraction. Like you personally chose to be born into a world where college costs $100,000, where healthcare can bankrupt you, where rent takes half your paycheck and groceries take the other half. The game is rigged and they keep telling you you're just not playing it right. But the truth is, for most people there is no right way to play. The machine is designed to win. It's designed to keep you in debt, keep you paying, keep you feeding the system that enriches the people at the top while everyone else scrambles for crumbs. Every time you make an interest payment, that money goes up. It flows to banks, to investors, to shareholders, to people who already have more money than they could spend in 10 lifetimes. Your struggle is their profit. Your anxiety is their quarterly earnings report. Your sleepless nights are their stock dividends. The wealth you'll never build is the wealth they accumulate while doing absolutely nothing except owning the system that extracts it from you. And here's the thing that really messes with people's heads once they see it. This isn't new. This isn't some recent development. This machine has been running for decades, getting more sophisticated, more efficient, more all-encompassing with every generation. Your grandparents might have been able to work a factory job and buy a house. Your parents might have been able to get by with some debt but still build something. But your generation? You're the first generation in American history expected to be worse off than your parents. The first generation that'll rent forever, that'll never retire, that'll work until they die because there's no other option. The machine has gotten so powerful that it's consumed everything. There's no outside anymore. There's no alternative system. There's no escape hatch. You're either in the machine feeding it or you're completely outside society, and good luck surviving that. They've made it so the only way to participate in modern life is to be in debt. The only way to have a phone, a car, a place to live, an education, healthcare, all of it requires money you probably don't have, which means credit, which means debt, which means the machine has you. And the most terrifying part is that this machine has a second phase. A phase almost nobody notices because it doesn't show up on your statement, it's not in your monthly payments, and it doesn't have a name. And it's this second phase that really keeps people trapped in the cycle, even when they think they're finally breaking free. But that, you need to see in the next few minutes. See, most people think the trap is just the debt itself. They think if they could just pay off the cards, knock out the loans, get the balances to zero, they'd be free. And man, I wish it was that simple. I really do. But the machine is way more sophisticated than that. The second phase isn't about keeping you in debt, it's about keeping you from ever building anything real, even after the debt is gone. Let me explain what I mean. Let's say you do it. Let's say you grind for years, you sacrifice everything, you live like you're broke even when you're not, and you finally pay off your debt. You get that last balance to zero. You're done. You're free. You did it. And for a minute, maybe a week, maybe a month, you feel incredible. You feel like you beat the system. Like you won. But then what happens? You're 35, maybe 40 years old. You spent the last 15 years paying off debt instead of investing. Instead of saving. Instead of building. And now you're starting from zero, actual zero, at an age when you should already have something built. Your friends who came from money? They've been investing since they were 22. They've had compound interest working for them for decades. They own property. They have retirement accounts that are actually funded. They have safety nets. But you? You're finally debt-free and you're starting from scratch at 40 with nothing in the bank, no investments, no assets, no head start. You lost 15 years, the most powerful financial years of your life, to the machine. And those years? You can't get them back. Compound interest that could have been working for you was working against you. Time that could have been building wealth was spent just trying to get to zero. That's the second phase. The machine doesn't just take your money, it takes your time. And time is the one thing you can't earn back, can't borrow, can't replace. Every year you spend in debt is a year you're not building wealth. Every dollar that goes to interest is a dollar that's not invested. Every payment you make is an opportunity cost, all the things that money could have done for you if you'd had it to invest instead of pay off. And here's where it gets even more messed up. Even if you get out of debt, the machine has trained you to think a certain way. It's programmed your relationship with money. You've spent so many years in survival mode, in scarcity mode, in fear mode, that even when you have money, you can't think like someone who has money. You can't take the risks that build real wealth. You can't invest aggressively. You can't think long-term. Because the machine taught you that money disappears, that security is temporary, that you're always one emergency away from disaster. So even when you're free, you're not really free. You're still thinking like someone in debt. Still living like someone who's about to lose everything. Still making decisions from a place of fear instead of abundance. The psychological damage is real, man. The machine doesn't just trap your money, it traps your mind. And most people never even get to that point. Most people never actually get out. They pay off one thing and take on another. They escape credit card debt and walk right into a mortgage they can't really afford. They finish their student loans and immediately finance a new car. The machine just shifts the debt around, keeps it moving, keeps you paying. Always paying. Because that's what the second phase really is. It's the realization that the machine isn't just about debt. It's about preventing wealth. It's about keeping people in a permanent state of financial fragility where they're always vulnerable, always dependent, always one crisis away from falling apart. And when people are vulnerable like that, they're controllable. They're exploitable. They'll accept low wages because they need the paycheck. They'll tolerate bad conditions because they can't risk losing the job. They'll keep consuming because shopping is the only dopamine hit they can afford. They'll stay in the cycle because the cycle is all they know. The machine has created a whole class of people, millions of people, who work full-time, who do everything right, and who will never, ever be secure. Who will never own anything outright. Who will never have enough saved to weather a real storm. Who will work until they physically can't anymore, and then they'll be dependent on a social safety net that's already fraying, already insufficient, already being cut. That's not a future. That's not life. That's just survival. Endless, exhausting, soul-crushing survival. And the people running the machine? They know all this. They know exactly what they're doing. They've studied the psychology, run the numbers, optimized the extraction. They know how much pressure a person can take before they break. They know how to keep you right at that edge, stressed enough to be desperate but functional enough to keep working. It's not accidental. It's not an unfortunate side effect. It's the design. So when you ask, why does it suck to be born just to pay interest? This is why. Because you weren't born into freedom. You were born into a system that was already designed to extract value from you before you took your first breath. The debt machine was waiting. And unless you came from wealth, unless someone taught you how it works and how to avoid it, you probably walked right into it like everyone else. But that, you need to see in the next minutes. You need to understand just how deep this goes and, more importantly, if there's any way out at all.